Welcome to ESO Community Videocast. Date is December 21st, 2013, and this is episode number 2. Today we're going to be looking at why we're interviewing guilds, what factions they choose and how they make those choices. A really special interview about the Elder Scrolls Online AI, and is it better than other games? The Steam machine and how that might affect ESO. The release from ZeniMax of the PvP video, and that has a release date on it. It says April 4th, 2014 is when this game comes to PC gamers, and in June it comes to consoles. Santa hat is kind of obvious for the time of year. Why are Vixen and I wearing our pajamas? Well, that's because we've got some people from Australia here, and for them it's much, much earlier in the day, so we appreciate them taking the time to come here and join us. Certainly encourage questions in the Twitch channel and shoutouts for your guild. There'll be a special section at the end of the show where people do shoutouts, and we want to hear and certainly give some PR for your guilds at that time. We'll fit in as many as we can. I'm Rook with one of the most active Daggerfall Covenant guilds, Mostly Harmless, and this is my co-host, Vixen.
Hey guys, I'm Vixen. I'm the PR officer for Mostly Harmless. And last month we had Cross, Drogon, Aldmeri Dominion, Legion, and the Nor on our podcast. We had a friendly little guild competition which was very close, and we'll announce the second place winner at the end of the show. But we're happy to welcome back the first place winner and our special guest from the first episode with the most shout-outs and bumps from his guild. Please join me in welcoming Deletherus from the AD Guild, the Nor. Hey,
Thank you very much, Vixen.
I like your arrow to the eye there.
Hey, Vixen, happy to be back.
They missed the knee or something?
That's right.
Well, you can pick your prize at the end of today's show, and make sure you choose wisely. And then new on the show today, we have Agamemnon, leader of the Unreal Aussies, a large-scale PvX...
Awesome, thank you.
Hey, Agamemnon. Good to have you.
Hi, nice to be here.
A large-scale PvX gaming community. They're undecided on their faction as of now for Tesso, but they compete in small tournaments as well as contribute a lot to local charities with their Beyond Blue program. So welcome. We also have Salblade, a.k.a. Colin, the game night coordinator for the Daggerfall Authority. They are a large-scale guild that dabbles in a bit of everything, including the writing of their own lore, which appears on their forums. Hey, Colin.
It's nice to be here.
Welcome.
Welcome, Sal.
And then finally, welcome to Superfan Akoz from Mostly Harmless. He'll be revealing some information about the AI system in Tesso from his QuakeCon adventure. Hey, Akoz. Nice glasses.
Hey, how's it going? Shout out from QuakeCon.
Welcome everyone to the show. We're happy to have you.
Well, thanks so much for everybody for coming. Why are we doing these shows? There are a lot of shows on the Elder Scrolls news and what's coming out. For us, Mostly Harmless, we're competitive. We wanted to go in and we started doing research back in August about the guilds in the community, who we might want to ally with, who our enemies might be, and what they were doing. We were just really surprised. We found a really vibrant, interesting community. We wanted to get to know them better, and the stories they had were all unique and quite different. So it became less about the competition and more about what a great community it is. You as a viewer might be interested for the same reasons. Maybe you're a guild leader or officer and you want to know what the other guilds are that are out there, what kind of personalities are leading them and involved with them. Or maybe you're looking for a guild to join and you're saying, oh, well, I don't have a group and I'm in Oceanic time zone, I'll check out Unreal Aussies. You're trying to find a group that fits your time zone or your play style. It's a very personal choice. There are small and big guilds out there, casual or very organized. They're all different, and some people like a newer guild that's maybe not quite as organized because they like to go in there and make a difference right away. Other people want things to all be taken care of. They know that the raid leaders are there and trained and that they can just become a part of it and grow with that group because things are taken care of. So, but that's certainly why we're doing this show. Hopefully that's why you'll enjoy this show. And if not, of course, there's always the news at the end that is always of interest. Let's start with a little harmless fun. We got some Tesso trivia questions, multiple choice questions that are just to get things, to break the ice here. I certainly encourage you to make your own answer up if you don't like the 4 that are given to you. And as always, you can call a friend. So we've got that, and I think Vixen here with the first question.
Yeah, the first one is actually going to be for Deletherus. If you had to be stuck on an island with one character from Skyrim, who would you pick? A, the Night Mother. She's the dead corpse chick that answers assassination prayers for the Dark Brotherhood. B, dear sweet Cicero. He's the slightly mad keeper of the Night Mother. C, Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. Or D, Bellathor, the merchant that would sell his sister for gold, if he had one.
Let's have a look at it. It's definitely got to be the dead chick, I think. It's closer to my age, and I'm single.
Awesome.
Very good. Okay, and Sal, if you lived in Skyrim and could only have one Dragonborn shout, which would you pick from the following? A, unlimited sweet rolls. B, a Lydia mute button. C, arrow to the knee immunity. Or D, instantly straighten all curved swords. I'm not sure if that's a double entendre there somehow.
I don't know. The sweet rolls do sound pretty good.
Okay.
Probably have to go with that.
I think D would like the arrow to the eye immunity. I think he'd like that.
There you go.
All right, how about Akoz? What is the name of the horse you received from the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim? A, My Little Pony. B, Shadowmere. C, Brihi Henny Brinny Huiha. Or D, Pegasus.
You're muted there, Akoz, which is perfect, actually. That's generally the way we like you.
My first option would have to be My Little Pony. That's
All right. That's a good choice.
Agamemnon, you have Sebastian here in channel. He's the first officer for your Tesso chapter with Unreal Aussie, so you feel free to call on him if you need help with this question. What do you think is the secret ingredient? A, troll fat. B, mammoth cheese. C, skooma. Or D, Daedra hearts.
I'm going to have to go with troll fat, simply because there's a little bit of troll in everybody, and I think if it's in everybody to start with, then it can be used in everything.
I like that.
Okay. Well, great job, guys. Now let's get to know each of you and your guilds a little bit better and get onto the serious stuff here. Agamemnon, I want to know what makes your guild special. Tell us about this guild from the Outback.
From the Outback. Well, it started in the Gold Coast, which is not exactly the Outback, but it's driven by the players. What the players want to do, we try and encourage the players to do it. If they want to take a game very seriously, they're quite welcome to do that. If they want to be very casual about it, they're quite welcome to do that as well. If you've got a game with lots of members and some of them just want to log on for a few hours a week, some of them want to have like a hardcore raid schedule and that sort of thing, they're welcome to organise that. And we've got people who do that. Different games take things very seriously with ranked teams, but on the other hand, they have a lot of muck around events where they just essentially troll each other and have a little bit of fun. So I think, in my opinion, that's what makes us special, in the sense that we don't drive the players drive us.
That's cool, and certainly something that stood out. We, of course, interviewed you beforehand just to find out more about your group, and what really stood out was Beyond Blue. You guys raised over, was it $1,000 for charity, and it's for what kind of charity?
So Beyond Blue in Australia deals with depression. We considered a few different charities, but we thought that Beyond Blue catered basically to the gaming community, in the sense that it was predominantly male, predominantly aged between 18 and 35. And so we went with that. A lot of our members have been affected by depression before, so it was a good choice, and we had a lot of fun doing it. There is a video somewhere of the whole thing on our Twitch account, so if anyone's interested in taking a peek, you're quite welcome to.
No, that's great. That we're we're same kind of group. Like I know when we interviewed, we had a really friendly chat. We were like, "Oh, this nice Ebonheart Guild, Unreal Aussies. I never thought I'd see a nice Ebonheart Guild." And I was like, "Wow, you're raising money for charity. That's cool." We had a special video out at the moment, giving back, mostly harmless, and it was just same kind of idea, but. You guys are very successful with yours. I think we're going to be able to raise about $200, but we're just trying to get more likes on the video to get that number up because we'd like to give back to the community. It's not all about the games. There's a lot of good that we can do as these awesome groups. So that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Send us the link and we'll check it out.
Sounds good. And Vixen?
All right, so how about we hear from Salbade. Tell us about what makes the Daggerfall Authority special.
Well, we're a pretty cool bunch of people. We got pretty much anyone. If you want to do something, there's someone doing it as well. We seem to have a lot of people who really like the lore stuff, really creative people. So we've actually started building our own guild backstory, like why we would be a guild, why we'd be together, and we have that up on our forum. We're also we're really big in finding pretty much if you want to know anything about something, like say I want to know about Talos, you can say something about it, and we'll have someone. We have a few people who like to just go around and write up an article on it. So this is everything we know about, and this is everything we could find. And toss that up in our library.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. So you can actually take requests. People say, I don't know about this guy. Tell me more. And you guys will actually write up something for them and put it out on your forums.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
We kind of have a bit of a role-playing focus, but we have people who do everything. Lots of PvP, looking at the environment as well.
Nice. Okay. And Dee, we heard from you last episode, but go ahead and give another shout out for your guild tonight as to anything you'd like to say quickly about the Nor.
Thank you. I'll try to keep it short and simple. We're a fun guild, very fun community. We're global. We're with the Aldmeri Dominion. We're a large community, but we're basically built up on small units, almost like little clans that all function together. We're very serious about having fun. We're serious about kicking ass in Cyrodiil. And I was going to give a little speech about bow safety, but had a couple of technical difficulties, so we'll save that for next time. Thank you.
Sounds good. So I'm glad I wasn't drinking at the time. I think it would have been all over the table here. The release date has been announced. April 4th. That's not long away. 3.5 months. So how do you choose a faction? How do the players that are looking at the game now choose, which of us here to join or which other guild to join by faction? What made you guys choose the factions that you chose? Maybe I'll start with Agamemnon. How did you guys choose? Because you guys...
So we did it by vote.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we did it by vote. When we first heard about Elder Scrolls coming out, we got a lot of people got very excited and wanted to get straight into it. We were all hoping to get into the beta as well, which sadly Australians haven't been able to. But we might take another vote again closer to the date now that we have one, and we can just let the players choose what they want. If there's enough people, there's nothing preventing us from choosing two factions if we wanted to. We'll probably start with one, but there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Sebastian said that you guys, Sebastian's the first officer, so he's actually, it's an interesting relationship. There's the Unreal Aussies gaming community with over, 1,400 members?
I think it's around 1,400. When we checked the count on the Beyond Blue event, it was exactly 1337.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a portion of that'll go into Elder Scrolls Online. And what Sebastian, the first officer who's in charge of the Tesla branch, said was that they'd taken the poll and that they were going to be looking at it again in the future because, of course, everything sort of started up early and then there was a long sort of dry spell. And now it's, of course, a lot of hype with an actual release date. So that's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Dee, how did you guys choose?
It's very easy. There's nothing better than being a 4-foot-high wood elf teabagging a Nord.
That makes sense. And how about for the Daggerfall Covenant Guild, Daggerfall Authority? Sal.
I mean, we've got red guards, we've got orcs, and we've got Bretons. What else? What else
do you need? Okay. Yeah, it was a bit different for us. We actually we came together as a community of players first, so we weren't too concerned about which faction. We looked at the polls. We saw Ebonheart was the most popular group. So being competitive, we didn't want it to be said that, oh, you won in Cyrodiil all the time because you were with the biggest Zerg. So we knew we weren't choosing Ebonheart for that reason, and we didn't want to be stuck in a queue with Ebonheart because they're gonna, if they have too many players, given the soft cap and different things, there could be queue problems, and we didn't want to face what we saw in Guild Wars 2 again, with 4 or 5 hour waits sometimes to get into PvP. So I don't know if that's a concern for anybody here, that just as to what the queue times could be for choosing the most popular. So we chose the underdog. We wanted to be, we wanted to make it challenging. So I'll be curious to see what players actually choose and why they choose them. Is Q a concern for anybody here in terms of getting into PvP?
Not particularly.
Not particularly? Cool.
Yeah, well, we don't really. I mean, we do get the Q block on Saturday morning in Guild Wars, but that's Saturday morning. 5 hours later is when you want to log on anyway.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. And any questions from the audience that we've got at the moment? I see there's some comments on Twitch. Once you go Redgar, you never go back, from Alistair, who's actually Ebonheart, and with Volkendine there. And
I like the one up above that said, I used to have a T-shirt saying, "Dead chicks never say no," and that was about the Night Mother question.
The Night Mother
That's from Chris Ballard.
Oh, jeez. That's good. Yeah, and there was just one other question there. I think we'll get that later, so that's good. So let's get right into the news here. This is certainly why we've got Akoz on here. He, unlike everybody who might be in a beta, can talk freely about the stuff that he saw at QuakeCon. QuakeCon and PAX Prime, anything that was shown there, you couldn't take pictures, but you could talk about what you saw there. And really interesting chat the other day. I didn't know. It was August 2013. Akoz is at QuakeCon, the largest LAN party. It used to be the largest LAN party in the world, might still be. Ventrilo sponsors it. They gave away 2 cars again. Runs 24 hours per day for 3 days. Many people bring their own computer. There was 2,500 people in 2012 that brought their own computer out of 8,000 people that came. And there's no fee for all of this. Now, Akoz, is there any rush to get there with no fee? Does it ever sell out?
Oh yeah, it's not, the last 2 years. In fact, it's not necessarily sold out because it's free, but they've run out of room at the BYOC. I got myself in a little trouble making sure I got there this past year.
What do you mean? That
I may or may not have been slightly speeding through a zone that was 14 miles slower than I was going.
Okay, so you're a diehard. You're in a rush to get there.
It was worth it.
Yeah, you got your spot in line. Did anybody not get their spot in line? Like, was it a big deal? Anyone?
Oh, there's a guy a couple behind us that he was waiting on his buddy actually from Australia to come in, and he never was able to make it in.
He's flying all the way from Australia and he doesn't get in?
Correct. Yeah, I'm not saying he never got in, but he wasn't there when the line closed yet. So, wow. Or when they sort of cut the line off. So.
Okay, so it's serious business. I'm going to make sure I get there a day early. Now, you told me about the ESO booth experience. How many people did they seat? How long did you get to play for when you did get through the line?
There were 20 seats, and it was a 30-minute play time. And, of course, we could go through the line as many times as we wanted, if you were willing to wait in line.
Okay. And what were the line waits like?
There's times where I didn't have to wait in line, but that was very rare. But the average was between an hour and a half.
Okay. And you went through the line once or twice to play the game?
12 or so.
Okay.
I call him a super fan.
I played a couple of times.
12 or 13 times, I think. Okay, that's awesome. That's well, Now, when you go through the next time, you go through for your 10th time, are you logging into your same character named Akoz and you're starting and just continuing on from there?
No, you sit down and they've created a character for you. You pick a class and you go in and start from scratch each time.
Okay, that certainly changes things then. As to what you're going to see in the game. So the AI, is the AI in the game actually better, or is this just PR and fluff?
No, in my opinion, it's a lot better. I'm not saying they don't have a lot of work to go before it's fully like a reactive or a smart artificial intelligence, but it's definitely the next step.
Okay, and now you mentioned something about the AI. It actually scans an individual or the whole party, or?
I'm not sure about the individual or the whole party part. I know from my experience and my going back in and testing some things that I saw that it definitely scans the player itself of some way, because I would go in at one point if I would have an AoE ability, and when I try to get them all clumped together to do my AoE ability, before I even cast the AoE ability, they're all backing off of me. I couldn't get more than one of them in my range at a time. When I went back in the next time, I'm like, fine, I'll just go single target. Makes it easier on myself. Well, as soon as I went in, I had no AoE abilities. I couldn't get them all off of me. It's like they were all three on me. They seemed to react to the type of spells I had equipped and the type of spells I was using, or the type of damage I was using on them, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the aggro base, is it the same, that they'll always aggro the person that's doing the most damage, or tanking, is it the same?
We kind of try to test that as best we could, and what we found is that there is no set aggro. It's not who's doing the most damage. It's not who's healing the most. It seems like they're making the smart choice. If they're beating on somebody and a healer's healing that person, they're going to turn around and go for the healer. If they're going for the healer and somebody else is healing them, or somebody else is doing too much damage to them, they're going to turn around. It's like they make the choice of what's best. It's almost like you're actually facing another group of players. But like I said, not quite, but it's definitely a step in the right direction and a step further than I've seen in yet.
Okay, so pretty dynamic combat potentially. The spiders, was there a video or something about they can cast an electrical field and then they'll run into it or something?
Yeah, I started researching the AI when I got back from QuakeCon, and there's a specific set of spiders that a lot of people have mentioned that you'll be fighting a group of small spiders, and they're actually relatively weak, but they can cast this sort of electrical field, and they sort of get buffed by it. Well, when one casts it, all of them, no matter what they were doing, will run into the electric field, get buffed, and then come back out and start fighting again. So they react to what goes on around them.
That's pretty cool if they will actually take buffs from each other and stuff. Is it perfect? Like, we've been showing tar and fire. But I think you or one of our other members that was at PAX Prime had said that it's not necessarily great. Like, or it looks cool, but then how does it work from there?
It's not perfect. It's kind of like almost like a roll in the dice choices, where once they've made a choice, they've made it. But like I said, I can't stress more that like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it has been in other games. It reminds me a lot of the dynamic events that are running around now. We first saw it in Rift, and it was they were everywhere. It was a mess, but they were new. It was good. And now we have Guild Wars 2, where the dynamic events are actually, they follow a seeming path. It's easy to actually take them in and do them. I think that this is the first step in becoming where AI is not just a punching bag.
Sure, yeah, that's good. That's great. Certainly for anybody in the Twitch stream there, this is the guy to ask questions of. Anyone who's in beta can't say anything because of NDA. This gentleman right here can say and answer questions about anything and everything he saw. I think Queensley is going to be putting some of those questions into our podcast here or into the Twitch channel, so we'll certainly highlight those later. The guy to talk to. And one of the things that we do, of course, pre-interviews before the main interview here, one of the things that stood out when speaking with Akoz, I think you said the bad gamer can beat the AI in many games. In TESO, it's the more experienced player that can beat the AI, and the average player will be challenged more than enough.
Correct. In most games, you go, and I won't mention any specific game, you go up to the AI, you slap it around, you get XP, you move on to the next AI. Well, in this game, it's a lot more dynamic. There's a lot more options that you have to make. The great gamers out there, it's not going to be as difficult. I mean, it's a long way from there. But for the average gamer, which most players are, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take them time to get used to what's going on. You throw a spell at something, it's not going to run straight at you and let you cast spells at it. It's going to dodge back and forth. Sure, it's going to have a specific pattern in that dodging, but it's dodging, and that's just something we haven't seen before.
That's awesome, yeah. And anybody here who was either at QuakeCon or PAX Prime or has comments about other games in their AI, whether you were excited about the AI or disappointed, from Agamemnon or Sal or D or Vixen?
I think the first time I was ever impressed with AI was Half-Life 2, because they acted like a team for the first time. In games before that, enemies just sort of came at you. But then there is something from last year. I have a link. I'll put it in the Twitch channel. It's about Unreal Tournament bots, where they put bots in with players, and they say they give each player the ability to vote for or to tag enemies as human, which as a system of voting. But they also give the bots the ability to tag players as human, because that way your bot has to not only fool humans into thinking that it's human, but it also has to fool the other bots. So you're trying to trick gamers, but you're also trying to trick programmers who know all the tricks in the book. And last year, the first time ever, there were 2 bots that scored more votes for being human than all of the humans.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's pretty impressive AI. Very good. Well, then let's move on to Steam here and how that's going to change the games.
Yeah, so Valve currently has 65 million active accounts in games, and this year they announced their plans to expand with its Steam platform that they're introducing with its Steam Machines project. And basically it's going to be powered by SteamOS, a Linux-based operating system, and it's basically like a home PC disguised as a console, and instead of a monitor, it plays on your big old flat screen. And the new Steam Machine will actually allow PC and console gamers to come together. And Valve is actually developing an innovative controller design that feels like a controller but acts like a keyboard. And the right side of the controller acts kind of like your mouse, and the left side of the controller is basically your WASD keys on your keyboard. I think we had a picture somewhere of that too, if Rook can get it up.
I've got it up there right now for you.
Awesome. So yeah, it looks pretty neat. And according to IGN, Valve is set to reveal their Steam Machine partners at the 2014 Consumer Electronics Show in January, so coming up. But it's speculated that the price for this Steam box will be about $1,400 for starters, which is pretty expensive.
Computer price, yeah.
Yeah, it's the price of a computer. It's a huge step. And what do you guys think this means for the future of gaming? Well, TESO specifically, what do you guys think this means if this brings console gamers and PC gamers all together?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I don't know, with the price and with the...
I think it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah?
It's... Go ahead, we're talking over each other. I was saying that I can see a console player maybe stepping up to play with the PC players. I don't see a PC player spending $1,400 to play on a console, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I don't think that simply having Steam machines is going to merge the communities of console players and PC players. I think the controller is a key part of it, because I think that the main thing that limits a lot of console players is the controller. You can't play StarCraft on a gamepad. But I think with some more technologies like the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset, which is for PC, and then the Xbox Kinect, which is obviously for Xbox, if you were to combine those two into like its own sort of controller, then that would change the way we play a lot of games. Maybe not necessarily all existing games, but it would it would let console games and PC games definitely have a much closer relationship in the future. I don't think the Steam box alone is enough. I think it's one step on the road.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a step in the right direction.
I don't even think it's about merging the two. I mean, I think it's gonna be a big hit for the simple reason that a lot of people, both console and PC. I have 3 consoles in my living room and a PC here. Would I rather pay $1,400 or more for a PC, $400, $800, $1,000 for the 3 consoles, or $1,400 for both?
Might be able to save some money.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I know personally for me, I think the theory is good because I have 3 older brothers, and I know 2 of them are Xbox players, and then the other one and me are computer players. And there's so many games that come out, they're like, man, I wish we could all play together, but we can't. So in theory, that'd be cool if we could. But I guess my big fear is how would it affect online server capacity too? I mean, if you have the same release dates for the same games, and if people do play on their console game, but it's a computer server, would it really affect that launch date, or how would that affect things too? I'd be curious. And plus, you spend all that money on the Steam box, and if you can't even, upgrade it as you go, we're always upgrading our computers and getting new parts and things. So that's kind of a downside too, I think, but it's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's certainly interesting news that just came out recently. A lot of comments in the Twitch about this topic in particular. Medwin, I doubt at 1.4K it's going to bring many players together. Valor, some PC games are designed for a console controller or easier to play with a console controller, so there might be some differences that way. The controller sometimes decides. People are like, oh, PS4, better machine, Xbox, better controller maybe, and some people choose based on that. Astenix is mentioned here, might get some console players, but a lot of TVs can do HDMI, so you don't need a monitor. And Tyler is just shouting that he's here.
I'm here too.
Welcome, Tyler. Well, Dee, let's talk about, there's some other developments you've seen. There's some new videos from ZeniMax. What would you like to talk about there before we wrap up?
I think of interest to me is in the latest character creation video that ZeniMax put out. There was also in the skill tree was crafting. And I was curious, asking the other guild leaders here, do they think their members are going to create alt toons that will specifically go up the skill tree for crafting? Or do you think you'll have toons that are adventuring and perhaps not take some combat skills in favor for a crafting skill?
Well, and an important thing to note on this before even people answer, maybe the audience already knows this, but people are going to have to spend skill points, and it'll either be on combat or on crafting. You can do it all eventually, but you have to make choices. It can't be that, I can't say that. So, what we've heard recently is that how do I say this? What's been said is that you have to spend points. Yeah, you have to spend some points on this. So you can't do everything all at once. You can do it all eventually. And so it's an interesting point, Dee. I mean, you're going to have to spend skill points on the crafting. Are you going to wait till level 50 and then start crafting because you want all your skill points spent on combat? Or are you going to get enough from the sky shards that are in dungeons and all around the world to be able to do things? It's going to be... I'm curious to see what people will say here. Sal, what do you think?
Personally, I'm usually a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. Like, there are always people who can fight and fight well, but most people don't really want to stand back and help their team as much.
Are you available? Because we need crafters.
Yeah.
I actually, I've heard they have provision crafting line.
Yes,
You
yeah.
get food and it buffs. That actually sounds really cool. I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, we're all going to have a competition and give away a Mr. Beer kit for whoever can craft the highest level beer in the game. No, that sounds good. How about D or Akoz or anybody?
I think alt tunes will probably come into it. A lot of people, now not everyone, but a lot of people have a lot of time. And if it's going to be beneficial to create alt tunes, they will do it. And when you have enough people, you only need a small portion of alt tunes specializing in crafting. And if that's, as you say, if you can eventually do everything, if the crafting side of things is only something you need to do for a while, then it will be pretty easy, I think, for some people to sort of sacrifice, 3 hours a day out of the 20 hours a day they play to put a little bit of investment into that for the progression of the guild overall.
So I'm reading Sebastian's comment there. I make the sword and sell it to you, and you buy it, and then you stab me and take my money. That's from Unreal Aussies there. The Alistair has a good point. It's been said publicly that there will be a benefit, that some of these, there's actual skill lines for the crafting, so you're going to get a passive ability that could help you get a greater benefit from maybe your healing potions heal you for more because you've spent a point on that. So I'm really curious to see what comes of this. I mean, it's certainly an interesting area. The way they're doing it, it's very different.
Yeah, I could definitely foresee a lot of guilds just having some people, if that's their thing, focusing on crafting too. I think that would help.
I mean, that's really what, in my past experience, is what puts the good guilds from the great guilds. The great guilds will have people who want to craft and craft for them. They're good at crafting. That's what they like to do. Everybody is in their place. To me, that's what separates the good ones from the great.
Good teams, yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Anything else on that, D?
No, I think that we're going to be running, because basically we're running little 8-man groups, we'll probably have each one of the people choose a different craft and concentrate on that and devote a couple of skill points for leveling it up as they're leveling. I think we'll be able to find enough sky shards, read enough lore books, complete enough quests to keep up with it.
That's cool, yeah. And you're going to have a lot of Fletchers to make some more arrows?
I certainly hope not.
Preferably ones that fly straight, right?
Yeah.
Or that aim at the enemy, yeah.
That's right.
Very good.
I think with the Aussies this was a boomerang arrow or something.
From Chris Valnor here, there's I'm going to master gathering stuff and selling you guys shit for a crap ton of money. And Medwin, a good guild can buy what they need. A great guild will be selling it to the good guilds. And Alistair supports that. Well, thanks for the comments in Twitch there. And I think Unlimited Arrows, lots of good comments there. That's great. And Des DeMonte, I hope there's a function that only high-level characters that have been to the dirty places can craft the real uber stuff, so people that have gone to that area. And I think that's likely to be the case with the supplies you're going to need to get it. So this is you can still last minute here for questions while Vixen's going to talk, and then we're going to do guild shoutouts.
All right, so last month we asked all the audience viewers to participate in a friendly guild contest for some great prizes. These prizes include the Batman game Arkham City, as well as a great gift bag from our sponsors, 3UP Golf. And so, Dee, you were the first place winner for the most guild comments on the Mostly Harmless website and YouTube video, as well as our Twitch stream. And so the Nor wins. Please tell your guild thank you so much for their participation, and which prize would you like for your guild?
Way to go, everybody. Good support, good community as usual. We will take the Batman game, please, and we will hold a little in-clan event and decide upon the eventual owner of that game. Thank you so much for providing it.
That's awesome. Great. So, shout-outs for your guild. This is the time. Shout out your guild name. Please, just one shout-out per guild. We'll try and we'll get Vixen here to announce those so that you can get some PR for your guild as well. No, there's no date with me or Vixen. The second place winner for the contest. Congrats to Draugen. They were did very well in the contest as well. Good Ebonheart Guild. And we'll be in touch with them to figure out who wants to claim the prize. That's the golf ball, so that's very good. The next contest is for another game. This one will be for Space Hawk. Anyone can win this. It's not restricted to the guilds that are on the show. So, get on and basically you give your shout-outs on Twitch. You're watching this later, you just put a little post on YouTube or something to shout out for your guild. Give them some love. It's good PR, and it's also for the people watching this that are looking for a guild to join. It's a glimpse of guild activity. They see a lot of members doing something together. They realize that, oh, well, they're organized. They've got they're able to motivate people to do that. So I'll let Vixen do the shout-outs here.
All right, so we've already got one for Unreal Aussies, and we have several for Hadouken. We've got Astenix, Orming, Kevin, Chris Venor, Parnas, Homegrown Doofus. That's a nice name, like that. Oh, several, so great. And then another one, we have Sebastian for Unreal Aussies. Great job, guys. Great shout-outs. That's a lot already.
Yeah, that's good. Volkendine was going to be on the show a couple episodes ago, and I believe they're going to be on the January 18th episode. That is the next show. We do this every 4 weeks, and it could be you on the next show. It could be featuring you. Just certainly get in touch with us, and let us know why you're interested in being on the show, and we'll talk to you ahead of time, and we'll get you set up. But usually we try to get it all set up about 2 weeks in advance of the show, so that we can get it into Tamriel Chronicle, where you'll be featured as well. This is Rook with Mostly Harmless, and we'll see you out on the battlefield.